Digimon Ghost Game has been on the air for 6 months as of the time of recording this video. The latest Digimon series has had over 20 episodes, and so having crossed that pretty significant milestone, I thought it was about time to do a performance review, a biannual check-in on Ghost Game and see how it's doing and how its first third compared to Digimon series that came before it. Now technically we had 21 episodes of Ghost Game and episode 21 was pretty eventful, so I'm going to actually talk about the first 21 episodes of Ghost Game, Adventure 1999, 02, Tamers, and Adventure 2020. This is not a review or definitive ranking of those series, but rather an exercise to compare how much happened at the 6-month point in each of these series. And Ghost Game has often been called slower paced, meandering, sort of monster of the weekish, so let's put that to the test by comparing and contrasting. Maybe we'll look at Frontier Savers, etc. at another time if you like this video, but for now I wanted to compare Ghost Game with the first 3 series and then the second most recent series, aka Digimon Adventure 2020 reboot. So no more setup, let's jump in, starting with Ghost Game episodes 1 to 21. Spoilers ahead for all these shows, by the way. Episode 1 and 2 are Hito and Gamamon meeting and bonding, triggering the first evolution of the series into Battle Gamamon in episode 2. And by episode 5, we have the core team assembled with Riley and Angoramon and Kiyoshiro and Jellymon. Episode 7 gave us Gamamon's second slide evolution into Chaos Gamamon. In episode 10, we got Tesla Jellymon, and then in episode 12, we got Wezen Gamamon, the third slide, before episode 13, where we get Gulas Gamamon and this strange black Agumon appearance. I don't know if I can call this a traditional arc, but you can definitely separate the show into pre-episode 13 and post-episode 13, so let's call episodes 1 to 13 the first arc of the show. In episode 15, we get Angoramon's champion form finally, and in the next couple weeks, we get some evolution hesitancy from Hito, who doesn't want to risk summoning Gulas Gamamon again, and we also get the cool partner swap moment where Riley and Jellymon teamed up. Then, nothing really major happens until episode 21, where Arukenimon absolutely owned our team, defeating everyone and attempting to eat Gamamon's brain, which triggered the second appearance of Gulas Gamamon and the first appearance of Black Gargamon. Definitely teasing something, but what? Not a lot to latch onto though. We know Hito's dad is missing and we know of a digital world, but not how to get there, and we really don't have any reason to go quite yet. So let's see how those episodes compared to the other shows. Now, Adventure 1999, the gang all meets in episode 1. By episode 8, we meet the first villain of the series, and by episode 13, he's defeated with the arrival of Angemon. All the champions have arrived by then as well. That's one arc. We're then contacted by Genai and off to the new continent by episode 14. We learn about the crests, and not long after, the next ongoing villain, Edamon, enters the picture in episode 15. 16 delivers the iconic Skull Greymon Dark Digivolution moment, an absolute standout for a lot of fans. From episodes 14 to 20, we're on the OG Crests quest, and by episode 20, we get Metal Greymon's first appearance, the first real ultimate of the show, not counting Skull Greymon. Edamon is defeated, ending the second arc of the series, and Tai and Agumon are sent through a portal, landing in the human world. And then in episode 21, since we're counting episode 21, we get another one of the most iconic Digimon episodes, the first taste of a future real-world arc with Taichi returning home. This episode is directed by Mamoru Hosoda of our war game Summer Wars, Boy and the Beast, and Bell fame, and it also sets up the introduction to Kari, the soon-to-be 8th Digidestined. So in summary, really a lot happened in the first 21 episodes of Adventure 1999. 7 champion evolutions, if I've got my math correct, a Dark Digivolution and the first ultimate, 2 villains defeated, and a short trip to the human world for Taichi and Agumon. Still a clear goal for the future as well, as we know the crests exist and are needed to give the other kids Digimon new power-ups like what Tai and Metal Greymon got. Hey, quick timeout so I can tell you about the sponsor of today's video, the ever supportive Bai. Maybe you, like me, want cool Japan exclusive anime merch that you saw online, but they don't ship outside of Japan, or they don't ship to your country specifically. If you're an anime fan looking to import cool anime merch, you should really put Bai on your radar. They're this online shopping proxy service that lets you order things from major Japanese stores like Amazon JP and Rakuten. I've used them before when it came to buying DIM cards for my Vital Bracelet Digivice, and it was ridiculously easy and shockingly fast to get something from Japan to Canada. If you decide to sign up today and use my promo code in the description of this video, you're gonna get a 2,000 yen coupon, roughly $20 US, to use on your first Bai purchase. So if there was something maybe at Digimon Con or elsewhere online that you saw that you absolutely had to have, Bai is the way to go. Super simple, super fast. Thanks again to Bai for sponsoring this video. So going to Adventure 02, in episode 1, we reconnect with characters from the last series like Tai Tai, Kari, TK, and even meet 3 new kids and 3 new Digimon. We also get the first new Digivolution of the series with Davis's Vmon turning into Flamedramon via Armor Evolution. By the 3rd episode, both Yoli, Cody, as well as TK and Kari all have Armor Evolutions of their own, so that's the new cast all with their first evolutions, and it only took 3 episodes. In episode 8, we meet face to face with the Digimon Emperor Ken Ichijoji during a soccer game and get this great line.
Some nice friends you got there, Davis.
In that same episode, the Digimon Emperor reveals his identity to Davis, so now we've got a whole new dynamic at play since we know the villain's identity. Episode 11 gave us Raidramon, the 2nd evolution for Vmon. Now with Armor Evolutions, obviously it's not a Champion Ultimate Mega situation, but for all intents and purposes, we'll treat this as the next evolution. By the 16th episode of 02, we have Hawkmon and Armadillomon achieving their 2nd evolutions, Shurimon and Submarimon. So whereas at this point, Adventure had champions for everyone and 1 Dark Digivolution with Skullgreymon, and Ghost Game had champions for everyone, 3 ults for Gamamon and a Dark Digivolution for Gamamon, 02 has given 3 of its heroes 2 evolutions each, and 2 other heroes 1 evolution each. Pretty impressive, but let's keep going. Fast forward to episodes 20 and 21, that's where Ken unleashed Chimeramon and is ultimately stopped by Davis and Vmon using the Digi-Egg of Miracles to give us Magnamon. Can you believe that was only in the first 21 episodes? Ken realizes the error of his ways after Wormmon's death leads him to understand the digital world isn't just a game. And this is really the end of the Digimon Emperor arc. And if we were to cheat, I would mention that Davis gets X Vmon in episode 22, but we're only covering the first 21 episodes here. Still, a complete arc with the Digimon Emperor and 9 evolutions if my math is correct. Looking at Tamers, in episode 1 we met Takato and Guillaumon. Of the old shows, it's our most personal pilot yet, as we really don't touch on Rika or Henry in a meaningful way here. By the 3rd episode though, we've met Henry, Rika, Terriermon, and Renamon, a little faster than Ghost Game, which took us 5 episodes to give a proper introduction to Jellymon and Kiyoshiro. By episode 8, we have Growlmon, Gargamon, and Cubimon, so 3 champions. Interestingly, by episode 8 of Ghost Game, we had 2 evolutions, and they both belong to Gamamon. I'm noting episode 11 here because Henry and Gargamon have to take down a Muziamon, and Henry comes to realize that there's just some fights you can't avoid. This is a lesson we've kind of been waiting for Hiro to learn, as he's come close a few times to learning it, that some Digimon need to be taken out, but he hasn't like committed or accepted this, you know? There's still a lot of kind of, I hate to use the term, but the talk no jutsu is what people like to call it, where we're able to talk ourselves out of a situation rather than fully defeating a Digimon who just has no intention of changing his ways. Guillaumon gets his ultimate form by episode 14. Kazu, Kenta, and Jerry all witness the battle, and that's teasing some future Tamers. By episode 18, we get 2 more ultimates, Taumon and Rapidmon, and learn of the Digimon Devas, setting up a larger future conflict. And finally, in episode 21, Jerry and Leomon's partnership begins. Well, sort of informally, but Jerry does her best to become a Digimon Tamer here and work with Leomon, and we all know how well that ends, but for now, we have a further setup for the next round of late edition Tamers and Digimon. So again, a lot happened, maybe less than 99 and 02, but a lot going on. And finally, I'll speedrun Adventure 2020 since it's still fresh in our minds, but I do want to look at it. In episodes 1 to 3, we really spend time with Taichi, Agumon, Yamato, Gabumon, and Omegamon in the Tokyo Digital Crisis sort of mini arc. Technically, this series is the first to wrap up an arc, though this one is small and a reimagining of our war game in many ways, so that's why I'm calling it a mini arc. Episodes 4 to 8 are uniting the team, which you may also consider a mini arc if we want to be generous, but it's subjective. In episodes 9 and 10, we get Ogremon's sacrifice. He was the first real antagonist and defeated after a turn towards the light. We get a Devimon tease, and we get Metal Greymon in episode 10. The show is definitely speedrunning, giving us the ultimates in 10 episodes. By episode 16, we have the ultimates for the first 6 kids and a real-world fake-out episode with the Simulation City. We then get this multi-part Orochimon showdown, some teases of the big bad villain, even though we wouldn't really pick up on this for a good 20 to 30 more episodes, and we had the second appearance of Omegamon. By episode 21, we have the team split in 2 with a real-world team taking care of an international relations crisis while Matt, Tai, and TK awaken Angemon and in the process create Metal Greymon Alteros mode. That was episode 21. And yeah, that was a lot. This series is perhaps notorious for its breakneck speed, with almost every episode including a fight and an evolution, with little time to rest and kind of just relax. But say what you will about it, a lot did happen. You can identify 2 to 3 story arcs and a ton of evolutions. Not much of a roadmap for where the show is going though. Unlike Tamers that had the Deva tease, we don't really know what happens after we defeat Devimon, which wouldn't happen until episode 24. Comparing the first 21 episodes of all 4 of these series, I think that Adventure 1999 definitely had the most squeezed into its 21 episodes, as well as the clearest vision for what came next, followed by 02 and then Tamers. Those are really close, and then Adventure 2020 behind them. Ghost Game is definitely in last place when it comes to the plot occurring in these first 21 episodes. Now keep in mind, this is not necessarily a review. I'm not not saying this makes one show superior or inferior to another. In fact, some people did not like how much happened in Adventure 2020, for example, but it is definitely an interesting exercise, I think, to compare how much these shows delivered in their first 6 months on the air. Sadly, while I almost always enjoy an episode of Digimon Ghost Game, I really wish we had more of a trajectory for the plot. They are hinting at something with these Dark Digimon, but Adventure 1999 was already willing to talk to us about the crest stuff. 02 was willing to unmask and defeat the Digimon Emperor. Tamers hinted at new kids, introduced clear antagonizing forces like the Devas and Hypnos, but Ghost Game is weirdly quiet about what tricks it has up its sleeves, and that can be sometimes worrying. Still, a lot can change in the later parts of a series. I liked Adventure 2020 more or less the whole way through, but I know a lot of people enjoyed the beginning quite a bit and then fell off really hard either around the Ultimates section or after episode 24. So for all we know, Ghost Game is only a few episodes away from launching into like an epic story heavy arc, but for now we only have the first 21 episodes to talk about, and I thought this was a fun refresher, so hope you did too. Like the video and leave a comment sharing your thoughts on what we talked about here. Did this make you realize that Ghost Game needs to pick up the pace, or are you happy with how it's going so far? Thank you so much for watching, have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.